NQ size lift the offer. NQ size hit the bid.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the sweep here when it does happen. There's definitely crazy amounts of stops up here. I mean, we're so negative on the day, right? Negative 4.3k delta, yet the market's bid, which essentially just means that um, buyers have been absorbing all the selling, and then feathering uh, into the offer, and then it's not been taking much to move the market from there. So you've then got a sign that the offer is weak because not a lot of delta is taken to move price up, and we're negative delta on the day, and the market's up. So you know, experience tells me here that the amount of stops that are going to be up here that are broker side are going to be triggered, right? Considering we already hit this on the Dow, so we've already swept a level, okay, which is a trade thesis in its own right. This would be the trade if you were to, classic sweep of the high stop run. This is high Kanashi, by the way. It's not just standard candlesticks. So, and then you would fade back into value. But considering these levels are so close, I would rather wait till we get up here, especially considering correlations. I'm still expecting NQ to somewhat sweep these levels again. I mean, it seems weird to me, like a volatile asset class like NQ, to not sweep the high there. But anyone that front runs is getting paid off at the moment, to be honest. I suppose it was maybe a bit of a giveaway, the fact that ES was like, how many points is that? Just say from here, we're looking, yeah, nearly the guts of 50 points. So ES had a long way to go there. You know, I had a long on gold earlier here, got out around here, which is nice. Took another long, got stopped out. Then I bought here, got out here, and then the market's ripped. To be honest, I mean, it's a bit annoying that it's all the way back up here, but c'est la vie, still with a relatively decent day so far. Discussed oil earlier today. Oil's been weird last number of days, which is the price action. It's just been absolutely shitting itself. Just trading up here, absolutely dive bombed. We then had a regain, then just consolidates, and it did the same again. The following day. I need to explain to you guys what you're roughly seeing on the charts here. So the white line is close of play, whichever time zone you're in. The pink line is the start of regular trading hours. So just when you're looking, you can see the highs and lows of pre-market versus regular trading hours. Very common, you'll see a sweep of the high and low. Down here is delta. Delta is simply the difference between aggressive buyers and aggressive sellers that are ultimately uh, going into the market with market orders. Okay, um, and then we have a nice indicator in Sierra that depicts the previous day low, previous day close, uh, previous day open, and the previous day high. So it's nice to have that drawn. That's typically areas where you see volume, and it's just where a lot of the fuckery goes on, to put it bluntly. You know, my thesis for today, or now at least with Apple earnings, really strange. This is NQ with Apple earnings coming out. Um, Super negative delta on the day, right? Negative 4.7k. Yet we're approaching the high of day. So essentially, buyers have been absorbing all of the selling, and then just feathering into the offer and lifting the offer. So the day is still young. There could be a lot of movement and manipulation just yet, especially considering how this is sitting, right? Because when you are 4.7k negative delta, you should be down here, right? You shouldn't be at the high day. Or it should be the other way. It should be 4.7k delta, to the positive side. So definitely something to note that's off there. And just as a word of warning, majority of large firms are not the ones that are entering market, right? They're entering in at limit orders and are absorbing price. That's just how it goes. Because they can't go in and just buy, like, look at this, for example. This is NQ, right? If you had even say 100 contracts, these guys have a lot more, but you have 100 contracts to execute on NQ. If you come in and lift the offer right now and buy, there's not enough. This dude here is showing 40 at this price, 17590 even. We'll watch what happens if it gets taken out, or if he's got more to come behind it. So when this is shown there, it's going to be taken out, this price. There's a guy up here that's flashing. He's moving. They're flashing again up here. So there's definitely some size waiting to be executed up at these highs, right? Same thing. This was, you could have taken this classic sweep, of pre-market high with a nice sweep. You take the short, stop above, and then you're riding it back into value. What is not so appealing about this though is the fact that this Dow has done it early, and you've still got NQ and ES falling behind, and so we'll see what's going to happen. And gold is doing literally nothing. We've opened here, prices dropped, we've now pulled back roughly 30-40%. We'll probably end up trading round about this area, something along the lines of sweep the low, sweep the high, and back into value. Especially with only Apple news coming out. So this is interesting. This is another classic. The sweep of the pre-market high, back down. It's perfect for these sort of balanced days, right? If we look at these in the profile, it's a wild day yesterday for FOMC. Wild. If I actually have a look at that. So I don't know if anyone watched the speech from Powell, but he came out and said absolutely nothing hawkish at all. It was like, we'll maybe cut, probably not though, because um, we need to see inflation drop. It's not looking great, and then the market goes bid, and that's just an extreme head scratcher, right? And that is exactly when he finished speaking, the market just literally, dumped right back to where right back to where the speech started, which is crazy, right? Millions, won and lost in this pump, and the same here. Um, and actually the end result was nothing. So it's crazy how the market does that. You know, when the market's that volatile, you need to be waiting at extremes. Um, that's how it is. always wait to see if the price is swept. Wait for price to go a little bit further. Like NQ is going to sweep these highs, right? And the reason why I think that's going to happen is because we've already swept on the Russell and on the Dow, right? So there's going to be some carnage coming in. I am super interested if we get up to these levels, to be honest. You know, and we're going to see carnage. Apple's earnings is at close, so when it opens, we're going to see a huge gap as well. But everyone is going to be waiting for that to happen and essentially putting on their bets for those earnings because Apple's like the second largest cap or something, right? Mm. So anyone who's watching this back, let me know what markets you're trading and also hit the subscribe button so you can be notified. Come in and chillax. We could discuss what you're trading. I don't really care what anyone trades, to be honest. It's nothing about what strategies you're using. It's more about risk management and how you actually execute your positions. Because the rule of thumb, um, you can give a winning strategy to 10 different people or 100 different people, and probably not one of them will execute it the same. And the person that has the best risk management and it will be there in a week to 2 weeks' time will be the dude that will ultimately prevail. You know, that's the way to do it. So not really caring about strategy. Come in, we can shoot the shit, talk turkey, um, and just discuss markets because this is awfully boring. When it's a big part of your income and you're sitting looking at charts waiting for sort of shit to happen, right? Not too sure if I covered this yet, but the bubbles that you're seeing is Sierra's, we'll call it answer to bookmap. Doesn't look as much like spaghetti. The bookmap does, and I feel that the volume dots are a little bit more accurate on here. To be honest with you, unless you tighten the thresholds in bookmap, I don't think it's that accurate. So the white dots are large volume that's been carried out in the ask or buying. The yellow dots is larger selling that's been carried out in the bid or hitting the bid, right? So it just gives an idea as to where people are getting involved, to be honest. So we've seen buyers come in here with this surge in delta, which is why there's some size come in. We're still seeing buying in NQ here. This is about to sweep in any moment. I'm not a breakout trader, but even at this, I'm really tempted to buy because there is so many stops up here, man, right? That's why I'm going it. See, this is the problem with it, right? You end up staying at the chart for so long, it's seeing opportunities that are not really there. But yeah, I suppose you could go here and then, you know, put your stop here. But the trouble is though, this could go down, stop it. How long are we going to sit here until this breaks these highs? And the trouble is as well is with the time of day in the market right now, is this going to break aggressively, or are we just going to see a little, shitty break and then reverse back and consolidate around here? We've only got like 3 hours left, so well, typically there's tons of volume that happened in the last 3 hours, you know. So we'll see how it goes. If I was simply a breakout dude, I would be buying this, but I'm not. I am, you know, fade the world, mean reversion, style. I prefer to be right more often. With breakout traders, I feel in current market conditions, well, not even current market conditions, just in general, breakouts do not happen. They fail like 70% of the time, right? So, we could go back down here and then eventually break it. Doesn't need to be now, you know, especially with Delta tapering off a little bit. But when it does happen, there's going to be carnage, man. It's been truly nothing too exciting. So yeah, let me know what markets you guys trade. Um, when I first started, I was more into being a specialist in a specific market. However, over time, I've found um, that if you're only looking at one market, then you end up forcing trades. When I've got a number of markets open, A, I use them for correlations, and B, I can be picky with my setups because I've got more options, to be honest, and that's the way I see it. You know, my trading style as well, or what I actually do at the moment is I have my own personal account. That is with um, through Iron Beam, which has been good. Executions are fantastic from there through T-tone routing with Sierra. It's been really great. I do that obviously to get cheaper data as well. Um, and then of course I have the usual prop firm gig that everyone does. To be honest, they have literally prop firms have taken over the sort of smaller retail side where if you're going to put 5 to 10 grand in an account and trade it, you might as well just go to a prop firm and reduce your risk, right? You know, pass rates to 40%. If you then trade it well, you make some Benjis. For multiple accounts passed and failed like everyone. But the number one thing, I've been doing this for like 9 years, and the number one thing that fails everyone is just simply the size that they trade, right? I can guarantee you that um, if you reduced your size massively down to, if you normally trade 1 and 2 minis, reduce that down to 1 and 2 micros, and you'll probably be a better trader, to be honest. Because anyone that's consistently over time has been trading 1, 2, and 3 micros um, has already been in the market for years, to be honest. You know, and I personally, granted, the comms are more for micros, but that's just the way life is, isn't it? You know, you need to be having tons of capital available to be able to stomach micros in general, right? I'm talking probably the guts of 20 grand, and there's actually not any prop firm account that has that available, to be honest with you. And they're more leveraged towards just taking base hits and doing small accounts because it's the drawdown to profit ratio is less. You're taking a higher account, you're getting more drawdown, but you know top step 150k for example, you need 4.5k drawdown to 9k to win as an example, or to pass. Whereas it's more favourable for lesser accounts. So in my opinion, um, if you manage risk well, you might as well just copy the small accounts. To be honest, Sierra has a really good copy setup, so I copy 3 top step accounts as well as trade my own personal account. So that's the plan. I'm pretty sure that's what the majority of people are doing. To be honest with you, okay, gold is pumping. Brutal that I go here, but that's the way life is. Right, NQ is where the action is going to be. To be honest, So I'd appreciate if you guys can, drop a subscribe or something of that nature. That would be cool. I've just realised the chat box was in the way there of the DOM. Great. Yeah, that's better. If nothing picks up in an hour, then we'll see. Interesting point of control is just changed up here. Yeah, there's gonna be some carnage later, man. What I'm done for the day, to be honest, unless we do something crazy, and get up here. I mean, this is just the definition of balance. I missed this trade, which is the sweep, the sweep of this level. This was yesterday's low. In B periods, the first hour of the day, the market swept the low, and then we just went right back into value the whole day. That was the trade of the day, well considering how my mean reversion did, but that was the trade. Same again with ES, and then YM and RTY, or the Dow and Russell, have just been balanced. What boring day. Yeah. It's one thing I never understood actually about the ICT concepts. If someone can enlighten me, um, not that I trade them in any way, shape, or form. How can someone say something is like a fair value gap or like an impulse move when they don't know the volume that's been carried out for that? If someone could explain that, that would be great. Because, for example, I mean, if you were to say, right, this is a big candle, this is I don't know, a fair value gap, and price comes down, how do you know that this is just not a low volume time and not a lot of market orders was taken to move price, or even more, there was no offers there, so price just it didn't take a lot to move it. So that's the thing I don't understand about those concepts, you know. So it'd be cool for someone to say. I think if YM does get up here, I'll probably be interested. Russell is. I prefer if it gets quite aggressive into level, to be honest. It's always a little bit more concerning if the price just grinds in, like this, for example. Fading this right now is dangerous, man. Here. Um, just because it's been grinding in here to this level, and then all it takes is some size to come in. I mean, look at the. Not saying that this is stops, But someone is literally sitting with 60 offered here, especially in these markets that are a little bit thin. So, you know, there could be 60 there, but they could have tons behind them, right? In terms of an iceberg order or anything. So I would expect. I mean, how many points is this from here or ticks? Yeah, it's a lot. See, there's such a blown out move yesterday that it doesn't look that much, but it's a lot, right? I don't think we're getting there today. I think most likely, we'll sweep here, maybe get up to this kind of level, and then we'll fade back and either, consolidate in this range here or down here. I think it's unlikely that we're going to go and break previous day's high at this, stage of the game, to be honest. But I'm still waiting patiently to see the carnage here, the amount of shorts, with the negative, nearly negative 5k contracts today on NQ, which is fucking madness, right? And we're actually approaching the high today, so all of those sellers are going to stop out somehow, right? And considering right now, there's nothing really happening with Delta down here. Waiting patiently to see what's going on. I mean, yes, it's so liquid. I'm probably going to adjust this a little second. We get anything less than 1,000. Patiently waiting for this break. I think we're going to go. Where are we going to go now? Be interesting to hear other people's opinions on what they think right now. I mean, what the theory would be to short here. I mean, I appreciate we're at resistance, right? But with everything I've already discussed in the stream, shorting here is really a fool's errand. I'm even tempted to buy this, to be honest. Okay, let's go for it. And we'll look to target the sweep of the high up here, and then this is the problem when you're going to get swept, right? So If market breaks below point of control, then the trade is gone. So we'll take a stab. I suspect if some delta comes in here, we are going to smash these highs, man. And we'll go for a little bit more and see. Should be now, to be honest. It'd be interesting to hear the thoughts of people as to why you would fade here. I mean, I'm a mean reversion guy, right? Don't know if we're going to get this much of a push, but we're definitely going to get a sweep. See, this is the problem as to why I never really engage in breakouts, is when is it going to break out, right? Especially now the delta is now slightly negative, you know. We need buyers to come in and shoot the load, to be honest. This sucks. This breakouts, man. I normally just fade extremes, right? But we're in. If price goes back down to a point of control down here, the breakout is no longer on, right? So that's just the general thesis. But so we'll wait and see how this is going to do it. Look to target. If this sweeps, we're going to have a big stop run with what's already been discussed. So we'll see how to do it. We just need, you know, probably 500-600 delta to come in and see. NQ is a wild asset, man. Let's see what's happening. ES is the same. YM is again sweeping, which is nice. So NQ should be next. So we'll see. OrderFlow is pretty hard in NQ with how slow it is, with how fast it is. Okay, there was some size traded there. Right, now we should be going. Let's watch the pop up at these levels and the stop run. I mean, I know there's a little mini stop run here, but anyone that's setting their stops are going to have them up here, right? My target might be a little bit ambitious for the first push because we're probably going to break, pull back, retest, and then go. I want to really be out in the first sweep, to be honest, rather than here we go. Okay, we can see some buyers were absorbed there. See, there was 15, 16, 19. There's about what 40, 50 contracts traded there. So this is the trouble with the sweep. That is just not a sweep. We need to see, you know, some size sweep, right? I think this is a little ambitious, but we'll try and get out in the first push here. Alright, here we go. It's popping time. Delta's just coming up. We see a big surge. We'll put the target back to the 200 ticks. Right, there's the sweep. We don't want to see. We want to see some buyers continue on, and they're not. There we go. See, that's the trouble. We need to see more than that, or this trade is not even worth it, right? There we go. There's the stop run. We want to see some more. There it is. Yeah. So wanted to be out in the first sweep. So now we pull back, right? And then you can just fade back into value as a sweep. We want to see buyers continue on here. I'll just get out 100 ticks, to be honest. If we get there, that is. Yeah, see, that's going to be taken. We want to go here. I'm not wanting this to come back and sweep on us. There we go. Okay, probably not the best managed trade, guys, but this is the thing: is this now is the absolute is typically the trades that I take, right? So this could here have just went down, swept back in, and before we know it, right? I'm just that's the guts of like a 100 tick trade, right? Nearly. So if it goes here and takes my 200, that's fine, but I'm not willing to sit here and watch this come back. So not bad, especially with NQ. So we've now basically stopped out everyone, right? As an example. Now this could simply reverse back, which is my standard sort of trade, as I don't normally take breakouts, but I had explained the thesis behind why this is a breakout that I was willing to take. It was obvious, to be honest with you, especially with the amount of time. So this happens all day, every day, where you see the market going up, taking liquidity, and then just reversing, right? I can do it at any moment, especially with NQ. You know, you can see this is another sign that look, buyers are hitting aggressively, but sellers are absorbing. If buyers do not push this price up, then this will tank. There's tons of volume being executed here. Personally, this is not a good sign if I was still long here, to be honest with you. And this is the retest here. If this fails, then we're going to see a capitulation and a huge sell-off back down into here. But we'll see. And this is the exact reason why I didn't take the full, because of this, exact example. Happens all day, every day. If you're taking the breakout and you want to be cautious about it, you need to get out in the first push rather than putting your target, because most likely in this market, in this day and age, this will go up. Large traders get filled, and then they'll just sweep it back down and then come in with some delta like they're doing. I didn't even need to look at the delta chart to realize that was what would be the case. It's the same every time as to how it happens, right? I know this is anyone's guess as to what happens. Considering how we're this time in the day, most likely this will just return back to value. Um, you know, Interestingly to see what's happened in ES. ES is not really doing anything. Russell is there's not really any size coming into Russell, but it is the small mid caps, mind you. Dow, I mean, look at this. The Dow's the same. I mean, there's just no aggressive buying here, is there? You know, and when I see that in other markets and for correlations, typically for stocks to go bananas, it has to be happening across the board, right? It has to be on, um, all markets like your Russell, your Dow, your NQ, and ES, and so on. And also, it would help with the dollar. The dollar's weak. Well, you're at it, to be honest with you. So, anyone's guess as to what happens now. I think for the day now, I'll take something like, plus 1k. So good day, relatively painless trade there. Um, Not the best managed, but I think it was about approximately about 2 or 1.5, 2 to 1, which is good going. So it would be interesting to hear your guys' thoughts on that trade. If you would have taken it, what you would have done, what your thoughts are. Do you take breakouts like that, or do you typically fade the mean back there? Would you be selling into this? Because that's typically what I do. So, as an example, if I zoom out, I would be selling here all day. Literally just pardon me, putting a sell limit here when the market goes up here and grabs the liquidity. Um, you know, it would then reverse as an example, right? Now, I hate there's a sad thing is I feel the word liquidity has been ruined by uh, just really rubbish concepts in the market. Liquidity is money, right? This tells you what money is, flowing in and out of the market each price. This is the total amount of contracts that have been traded at this price for this day. You know, um, so uh, and ultimately, the more um, volume that's carried out at a price, the more people have accepted that as a fair value. You know, if something gets really far away from a fair value, then ultimately people will look to sell, um, because that's how you profit. Of course, very simple. It's just auction market theory. It's the same thing if you know fair value price for an iPhone is $1,000, and it goes down to 500 per unit, you're going to buy it and probably try and sell it for 1,000, right? Or probably even 900, so you can get the quick sales. This is no different, and this shows you an inflow of what is perceived as value and what is not, right? And in my opinion, there's no other way to look at the market. Market profile gives you a way of what is in time, where is the market spent the most time, um, which is typically again related to volume. Time and volume is really important in the market. And then I, of course, just use Heiken Ashi to try and sort of blend out the some of the noise, to be honest with you. So it's just in general, it would be nice to hear what other strategies people use out with, a moving average cross or whatever, you know. How did gold turn out after that? Okay, interesting. See, I would look to fade. Um, this is an algorithm I have running that jots down the calculations of where resistance levels are going to be. If anyone's interested, let me know. Um, but we're just seeing the same thing here. I already discussed that we've had a sweep of this level. Prices then went back up. This is the point of control for price. So we'll probably see markets then swept this high again. It happens in every single market, right? You just need to think about where can large traders get involved because they can't just buy and sell like you and I. That's basically it. Um, Tempted to try and, well, not trade oil, but I'm tempted to, I need to try and get back at oil. To be honest, it's been slaying me as of late. You know, Probably lost about 500-600 bucks on oil. Okay, interesting. Surprise, surprise. We're now fading. I hope this me rambling on here explains the thesis behind why the market does this. Do you know what I mean? And why I exited and just this happens at every, in micro ranges, at highs and lows of day. It happens, continuously. So you need to watch out, right? This is why people would, buy here and buy here, and then before they know it, they have to get out, and then they're puking, and then more sellers then come in, and then the market shits itself, you know. But this is exactly where, if you're buying these breakout levels after the breakout, you're literally providing um, the size for the larger traders to get in. You know, if you guys watch this back and you see what happens at these prices, you could be trading here, market will go bid, and then it will literally just fill out all this. You know, these are basically going to be icebergs. They don't show the orders, but when price goes there, they just hit them, right? And obviously it's integrity for the broker where large firms don't know where stops are, but it doesn't take a bloody rocket scientist to work out that if you were shorting here, your stop's going to be here. If you were longing here, your stop's going to be down here. As an example, the reason why the markets went up is because it's taken all the sell side liquidity down here, right? Um, and it's already swept the previous day low. This happens all day, every day, you know. And now, most likely, what's going to happen until Apple earnings come out is we're probably going to pull back to here, chop around, maybe go up, fade again, and then we'll end up somewhere around in this region, which is then depicted by the fact that this is a huge balanced day. It's literally a bell curve, you know. So my whole plan of this is to try and get people to see the markets in a different way instead of, oh, this is a resistance level, you know, like this is a resistance level. Let me just sell, or this is a breakout. Let me just buy. There's a reason why specific levels hold and some don't. You know that's just the way it is. There's a reason why, and it's to do with the volume and things, like delta and other tracks that give you an insight into what the context of the day is. So anyways, I may come back for market open at 11 to see the carnage. I probably won't trade, to be honest, but with Apple earnings, we should see a gap. Depends though. I've not done too much research or what's expected for Apple, but if it's a huge beat or miss, then the market's going to go either way, right? But as an example, what would probably forecast happening is if it's a huge beat in earnings, market will gap here. It'll then take all the liquidity up at these levels. You know, this is a 200 tick move, which is probably about right for the likes of an Apple earnings. You know, we gap up, we take all the levels, we then revert back, and then we finish round about where the market closed. That's my prediction of what happens. Or if there's a huge miss, then we'll just go back down and we'll just consolidate in this range. So, be interesting to see if that's what does occur. It'll be something to that effect. Okay, so I'm gonna boost. If anyone has got any questions and finds this helpful, please leave a comment below, and I'll get back to you, and we can shoot the breeze. I'm going to try and keep this in a regular schedule. I was just streaming DOMs, but to be honest with you, majority of people don't know how to read the DOM. So I'm thinking if people want to learn how to read this, then I can do separate videos, or you can ask questions, and I can basically answer them as the market's happening live. Because it's all very well me just bringing up a DOM, right, and just chatting. It's better to see when the market's live and how it's interacting, to be honest with you. But classic sweep incoming at the moment. So, anyways, guys, have a good evening and leave some comments below. Okay, peace.